How to create sexual tension with any woman. So today we're gonna talk about if you're missing this element of like, you know, having conversation, but you can't turn things sexual, and somehow girls tend to see you more so like a friend, and like the sexual tension is never created. Like, what's this magical moment that you go from friend to lover? Like, this is the video where we're gonna explore this. Okay, so if you want to go deeper, by the way, into creating sexual tension, learning about this, and learning about more things, seduction, dating, flirting, obviously, I want you to hit the link in the description below, because it will take you to our community where you will discover a lot more about this, and you will find all the tools that you need to start attracting quality women and start getting one date after another and basically take care of this segment of your life. And with that said, today we're talking about this. What is sexual tension? What are the requirements to even create sexual tension? Because you can't just willy-nilly create sexual tension right off the bat. That's just weird, and people are gonna throw tomatoes at you. How this magical switch happens, where all of a sudden the girl recognizes her desire for you, and the technicalities, lastly, towards creating that sort of tension. Like, how do you actually do it? Okay, now, what makes me an authority in the matter? Why should I be talking about this? Well, I've been teaching dating for the last 15 years, so it's been quite a minute, and also this is something that really fulfills me and I really enjoy. And you can definitely say that in my time I have learned a thing or two about how to seduce a woman, how to show her and myself a great time, and as a consequence of that, how to create sexual tension. So, with that said, what is sexual tension, my bro? Sexual tension is nothing else other than frustration. Sexual tension is like the feeling of frustration, the feeling of wanting something that you can't have. Okay. It is when she's thinking of sex, or she wants to have sex with you, but she can't because it's not happening, because you're stringing her along, you're dragging it along. Okay. So it's this like pent up sexual energy that is not getting released. That's what sexual tension is. It's like not explicitly said, but there is generally in the atmosphere the understanding of like, oof, somebody is thinking about sex. Okay, so why do we want it? The first disclaimer is that we don't need it. Sexual tension is like, it's not necessary for seduction. Believe me when I say I have slept with tons of girls where there was no sexual tension. It was just like seamlessly went from like meeting to bed. Sexual tension is not a prerequisite for sex, but we do want it. We don't need it, but we want it. And we want it because it makes sex better, okay? It is this anticipation that builds up that frustrated energy, that builds up this like pent up energy and tension that gets released in sex. And when that happens, the sex itself, the act and the experience tends to be a lot more intense. That's pretty much it. So, and also, the more she wants you and she can't have you, the more desire she builds up. So it's one thing to get a girl to like be attracted to you, and attraction is a prerequisite for this. It's another thing to just not be letting her have it. And that's gonna drive her crazy because women very rarely experience this. Like us as men, this is kind of like the role of the woman, and this is kind of like the game that we're playing. And we generally chase and we can't have her, and then we get her, and then it's like exciting. But for a woman to not be able to have you, dude, that is gonna drive her mad, okay? Mad with desire, anticipation, and just crazy. And lastly, we want it because it's adult fun. As kids, we played chase. As adults, we play sexual chase. Okay, it's kind of like the same version of the game. like different version of the same game. So it's like the cat and mouse chase, and both parties kind of enjoy it deep down. So this is why we would want sexual tension. Now, in order to even start building sexual tension, there are some requirements, and they're very important. If you don't have these things, no sexual tension. So pay close attention. Number one, we absolutely need rapport. And I've done other videos on this, so if you don't know a lot about rapport, start clicking around. But rapport is the general vibe that there is friendliness and there is no hostility. There is no reason not to be yourself, and there is an atmosphere of relaxation. Nobody's got their shields up, nobody's being standoffish, and everybody's being free to be themselves. So we absolutely need that to build sexual frustration and sexual tension. The next thing that you're gonna need, so start writing a list, start writing a to-do list, a shopping list. The next thing that you're gonna need is attraction. Okay, attraction is super duper important. You can't frustrate a girl sexually without her wanting your bones, especially one specific bone, if you will. Now, building attraction, there's gonna be different videos on this, and I think I've already spoken about this to a degree, but attraction is this polarity that happens between man and woman. So the more feminine the girl is and the more masculine you are, the more attraction there's going to be between you guys. That means leadership, that means masculinity, that means things from what you externally look like. So do you have like wide shoulders? Are you muscular and tall? Your body composition, the tribe that you belong in. Is it an attractive tribe? Are you like a high-powered lawyer? Or are you a biker bad boy? Is your external avatar communicating things that attract women? Right off the bat, she's going to be more attracted. Are you behaving in a way that's attractive? That is major, because attraction is more so behavioral for women as well. So, is your vocal tonality steady? Your eye contact? And we're going to see about these things as well in this video. They do play a role in creating sexual frustration, sexual tension. Okay. Your mannerisms, your posture, your body. Do you stand? Do you carry yourself in an attractive way? Even if you walk through space, do you walk feeling yourself? Are your shoulders kind of like, on a swivel? Pre-selection, do you have other girls around you that feel like you are the shit? That when third parties see that, they experience the impact of that. When girls see you with other girls, they're automatically attracted to you. Okay. Do you have status? I've made a different video on building status momentarily in one night, in one space, or building in a macro sense in your life. So if you don't have status in your life, are you at least making an effort to build status in this room that you are right now? So all of these things are so important to build attraction. So if you have rapport and attraction, now this girl feels comfortable around you and feels that you are significant, that you're a significant male that she wants around her. She's attracted to you, okay. And the last little bit is qualification. You absolutely need to qualify the girl, and that means you must get to know each other on a personal level. And that is to become a real person in each other's life, okay. This is a requirement, but it's barely a requirement. It does help in creating sexual tension between a woman, but in some cases, she doesn't have to know who you are to create sexual tension. But if she does, it makes it easier. Okay, so qualification is the art of asking the girl questions to find out who she is, while at the same time giving her information about you, enough information about you to become a real human in her world. Okay, and the last little requirement for sexual tension is location. You can't just build sexual tension with chaos around you. You need a location where you feel comfortable, it's easygoing, relaxed, there's mellow vibes, and there's at least a certain degree of privacy where she can feel comfortable. Okay, now, with the requirements gone, here's how the switch happens. Here's how the opportunity for sexual tension is built. You will notice that in conversation with a girl, there's always going to be a time where you're going to exhaust the intellectual subjects, the getting to know each other, the subjects that are not really about relationships and sex, the subjects that don't go too deep into getting to know each other, and there's going to be some kind of a pause. Okay, this is the moment to switch the conversation, the conversational energy. This is the moment where you can take charge and take responsibility to slow down the tone of the conversation so that it can segue into a more seductive segment. Okay, so the conversation energy itself, it needs to slow down. There need to be a lot more pauses between your words, and the rhythm of your speaking can absolutely slow down to 0.5x, so half the speed. Okay. You will notice that when couples tend to seduce each other, this is something that happens automatically. Okay, even in a couple that's been seeing each other for like 5 years, it's always the same. And your tonality can become a little more assertive and commanding. It can become what we call downward tonality, which means that at the end of the sentence, you can discern some assertive tone because the tonality goes down. It doesn't go up, it goes down. Make sense? Good. And you can deepen your voice by speaking through your diaphragm. Okay, so, this is the switch that happens, and once this is done, the whole vibe is a completely different vibe. So let's talk a little bit about the communication channels and how to actually perform the building of the sexual tension, how to take that responsibility. The first thing I want you to do is to mind your eye contact. And the thing with eye contact is that it's a very interesting topic. There is no video that can tell you how to have the perfect eye contact, because this is not something that you can actively do. Eye contact, if you have steady eye contact but relaxed eye contact, so I'm not talking about the serial killer eye contact, but rather the very present, dominant, but also at the same time relaxed and almost like cheerful, like happy eye contact. To have that, the only way that I can describe it to you is you need to be able to have an awareness of what you want. So you need to be able to have a very present sense of self. In order to have this, you need to treat yourself or to make sure that you're serving yourself first. So I want you to make yourself comfortable, to kind of like develop an awareness of like, am I really feeling as if I was in my own living room alone, chilling out right now? And if I'm not, why am I tense? Can I relax? And if you carry that dialogue with yourself for like 5 seconds, you will see that your whole demeanor will calm down and your eye contact is going to come across exactly the way we wanted. And if you seduce a girl, if you look at a girl like this with a very present, steady, but also friendly and welcoming and warm eye contact, this is something that, combined with your slow speech and all the things that we just talked about before, is very seductive. So what's going to start happening is inevitably she will start thinking about sex, because the entire tone has changed. Nobody has explicitly said something about sex, but this will be the first moment that the girl automatically in her mind will think about sex. Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to do is to be dominant. And I've made different videos about dominance as well, but in essence, it means that you should have control without ego. So, and that kind of like, that is also relevant to what we just said about awareness, about developing an awareness of how you're treating yourself and how you're serving yourself. But this awareness now can bleed out into the rest of the world. So dominance is primarily about how you feel and what you want and maintaining an exact awareness of what you want, but at the same time starting to broaden out that awareness onto other things, onto the external world and other people. How do I want these things to be? Like, how do I want this bottle to be right here on the desk? Where do I want the girl to be sitting? Is she sitting close enough to me? I want her closer. Like a very dominant thing that you'll see sometimes me do, or generally people do that are dominant, is the girl is sitting on a stool or like on a chair. I'll just grab the chair, I'll just drag it towards me with a girl on top of it. Okay, what a dominant ass move. So this is your chance to demonstrate and showcase your masculinity and obviously the lack of ego. A great way to do that is by issuing commands. So do you see the ashtray right there on the table? Yeah, I see it. Good. Give it to me. You say this line to a girl, dude, there is no way she's not gonna think about fucking you. If you say it like this, there's absolutely no way the thought of having sex with you is not gonna pop in her head. So, be dominant, have control, display your masculinity, and issue commands. Okay, and next, I want you to make her surrender. And that is the second to last element of creating sexual tension. She needs to understand that it's completely pointless to resist what you want. Of course, that has nothing to do with anything being forced upon her, anything like that. This is not the vibe. This is more so surrendering to you because she trusts you. Okay, so okay, so we have the eye contact. Okay, we've kind of communicated that we're very present and that we're very welcoming in a very real sense because we have an awareness of ourself. We have a sense of self. Then we demonstrate that we're dominant, we're in control, and we're issuing commands. That is what will get her panties wet. Next, because of all of that, she will start sensing that it's pointless to have her own will. And she had better follow what you are suggesting. That is the whole vibe that we want to basically go beyond. Okay, so she needs to basically see that it's pointless to try and do what she wants. And when all of this is complete, now you can escalate a little bit physically and touch her in semi-erogenous zones like maybe her neck, or maybe the inside of her arm, or her thigh, or the small of her back. But also hold short. So again, you are kind of teasing her, but you're not really giving it away. Now, you do all these things, I promise you, the girl is going to be bursting with desire. Okay, so well, that's basically it. If you did like the video, well, press like and subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, peace.